Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us today for Lifetime Adoptions Q&A for adoptive parents. My name is Kim King. I'm here with Heather Featherston and we're excited to answer the questions that are on your minds today and really get into some of the details and share information that you need to know to help you be encouraged and take the next steps closer to the baby that God has for your family. Lifetime Adoption is a licensed child placing agency in the state of Florida. We work with private adoption, meaning almost all of our adoptions are newborns. Our typical scenario is that we are working with a pregnant mother who is wishing to choose an adoptive family for her baby. Of course, we have many other types of adoptions that fall outside of that typical adoption, but that is the general type of adoption that you can expect and will be the general basis of our conversation tonight. And if you are brand new to Lifetime, please feel free to reach out to us. You can get questions answered. You are welcome to fill out a free application. You see a QR code on your screen. You can go right to the application with that QR code and fill that out usually within about 15 minutes. Now, once you fill that out and hit submit, you'll receive confirmation back within a few minutes, letting you know we have officially received your application electronically. And then on the following business day, you will also start to hear from Lifetime. You'll hear from our applications coordinator, and she will let you know if she has additional questions or any items needed to make your application complete. From there, we'll get back to you within 1 to 5 business days to let you know if we're able to explore things further with you. So this is a great entrance into the adoption world and a great way to learn more about lifetime adoption beyond just what we share on our website, which is certainly a wealth of information. We get compliments all the time on how much transparency we offer in the adoption community, especially when families are looking at multiple sites. We also get feedback from adoptive parents who are researching adoption and love how straightforward the information is. That you may have experienced this when you Google an adoption question or want to learn about the adoption process using the internet. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. It can be really hard to get to the bottom line of the questions that you have, and it can be confusing. So we're excited that adoptive families are having such a positive experience on our website and our blog and social media. We have a blog for adoptive parents as well as for birth parents. So if you're curious about our birth parent services, and I think certainly you should be as a prospective adoptive parent looking for an agency partner, you really want to value that service that the adoption professional is providing for birth moms. So fill out the application. You can go to lifetimeadoption.com, learn more about everything. That application does not commit you to anything, and it's actually something that you should do before you've chosen an agency. So if adoption is on your radar, you're welcome to fill that out. And so, Heather, thank you for being with us. And we're excited to dive into some of these questions, especially that we've received on our registration. If you are here live attending, you are welcome to open up your questions box and type in the questions that are currently on your mind in the moment, follow-up questions to our discussion, as well as comments and feedback about our talk so far. So I encourage you right now,
Mhm.
go find the questions box on your screen, pop that out, and type in a hello to us so that we know you're there and know how to communicate with us through the questions box. So Heather, let's get started on our quick Q&A for adoptive parents. By the way, I know I keep saying let's get started, but Lifetime also provides exclusive webinars, adoptive family support webinars to our contracted families. What you're listening to right now is open to families who are exploring adoption and have not started their program yet, although all families are certainly welcome to attend, but this is not one of your private webinars. So sometimes there can be a little confusion with that. So Heather, let's get started.
Okay. So one of the questions that came in here was, how long does the process take? And I think a great place to start with this is understanding that um, it's not, the question isn't how quick do I get my baby, because there is a lot more to it?
So, as far as the adoption process, I would say that the first couple of months are really where you're laying the groundwork. You've decided to adopt, you've identified your adoption preferences, you've chosen an adoption agency, and now you're going to actually start the process itself, meaning you are going to work with your adoption agency on starting your home study or a home study. You will hire a home study provider in your local state if, let's say, you're working with us and we're in Florida and Arkansas, but you're in Texas. Well, that's perfectly fine. We'll make you a referral for a Texas home study provider who can jump on in with you and begin your home study. So we provide referrals for our contracted families. That home study is probably going to take within 2 to 3 months. So in the beginning, there's going to be a lot that you're going to be working on that requires your hands-on participation. And you'll also be working with Lifetime on creating your profile presentation materials, meaning the online profile that birth moms get to see, as well as the video, a short 2-minute video. We can pack a ton of information about you into that 2-minute video to really give a birth mom a good idea of what her baby's life will look like with you. And you can really express, how you feel about adoption and how you feel about birth mom and what your values, personality, and lifestyle are in the video and profile. And then you will also have an expanded digital version of that profile that is available to birth moms at their request. And they have to answer a few questions for us first, and then we can gladly share that expanded information. So, profile development, home study. Completion usually is done within the first 2 to 3 months. Now, if you are wanting to get shown to birth moms right away, even while you don't have a home study yet and are working on everything profile as well, we here at Lifetime actually have a temporary profile that we can start to show to birth moms from the very first week or two. If you come up as a possibility that all preferences match with a birth mom that has completed a new intake with us, we can send your temporary profile out as long as her due date is at least a few months away. So let's say it's summertime when you start and you're fully active in the program and your home study is going to be done by the end of the summer. Well, then we're happy to present your temporary profile to birth moms that we're already hearing from that are due in the fall, winter, and early next year. So that's a great way to make sure that you're getting every opportunity to be shown to birth moms and start working toward a match, even though you might not hear back about those birth moms right away because there is support and screening. There's a process on her side that she needs to go through as well, especially if her due date isn't coming up for a few more months, several months. So that's the whole building of your foundation. And then as far as how long it takes to match with a birth mom, most of our families can adopt, get matched within a year or two. Now, some families take a little longer than that. Some families may adopt on the shorter end, less than a year. Your adoption preferences absolutely play a big role in the timing because your preferences, whether broad or narrow, give us the ability to either show your profile to a birth mom because you have a broad scope, or maybe the preferences are quite narrow and we are not able to present your profile as often, meaning not as many opportunities to be seen and chosen by a birth mom. So you really want to think about what ways you can broaden your adoption preferences. Now, I would say a year to 2 years is realistic. Up to 3 years is also possible, even if a family is wonderful and has followed the program. Some adoptions simply take more time. So we're here to stay the course with our families and really we value that partnership with you. So as long as you remain focused and following the program, then we're here to help you successfully adopt. And we can talk more in detail about what to expect. As well as when you fill out your application, we'll get to look at your adoption preferences and talk about those and guide you through setting those up. And often in those conversations, there are follow up questions families need answers to before they can really make a decision about some preferences. And sometimes we ask about adoption preferences families really hadn't thought about. For example, sometimes families hadn't thought about twins or siblings, or maybe hadn't thought about birth mom expenses and need to learn a little bit more about what is involved with birth mom expenses before they can really make a decision there. So we want to empower you to make informed decisions based on our actual feedback and actual experiences working in adoption every day. Here at Lifetime, we're completing over 100 adoptions a year, and we're receiving multiple new intakes from new birth moms on a daily basis. So we have lots of good information to be able to share with you. In fact, you can go to our website at lifetimeadoption.com and view the listings of birth mothers that we share about. Now, we don't share about every birth mother, and this isn't a listing to request to be shown because that's not how our program works. What that listing is good for is information, education, encouragement. So many adoptive parents have shared with us that that's their favorite page on our site to look at. They love seeing that there are actual women every day who are really considering adoption because it gives them hope. It also gives them some intel to say, hey, so many of these birth moms fit within what I'm open to. And based on what a lot of them are saying, we also meet what she would consider as an adoptive family for her baby. So you should definitely take a look through that and just remember to guard your heart with that because it's not intended to use as a matching tool. Here at Lifetime, when you're
Right.
working with
Right.
us and you're active, I hear you, Heather, and you're active,
Hmm.
um, we're actively presenting your profile. You don't have to request to be shown.
Right. Absolutely. And you know that a lot of the questions we got are kind of on the similar vein. So that kind of feeds into the next one, which is what can I do to adopt fast, to adopt
Yes.
quickly? And that is one of the things that Lifetime helps families with is we have not just what Kim has shared, talking about your preferences and how open they are, but Lifetime also provides families who we're working with other ways that they can connect with moms who are looking for families like them. We have a private exclusive membership site for families. And within that, it has a wealth of information. It has many, many webinars that are like this, but on a variety of different topics. And then it has detailed information on many, many ways that other families have connected with women looking for adoption. And it is just one of those ways that families who are motivated to help get that match more quickly, it empowers them to also engage and be a true partner with Lifetime in their adoption. You still have Lifetime walking with you through every step. You have us working with birth mothers, helping them, helping screen, and well, actually, we are doing the screening, but it just gives families who are motivated for a fast adoption something within their control that they can do. So it's just one of those valuable options in the program. And like Kim said, one of the biggest things families can do is really look at their preferences and ensure that they are making the decisions about preferences from a place of education, meaning they know and understand things like the effects of substance use in utero, that you're not making those decisions out of fear, that you're making them out of fact. And we also, in our membership site, provide those facts from trusted sources, not us, because we are not experts. We are not medical experts, but we have wonderful, trusted sources for all of that for families to learn and understand.
And I also want to highlight that the type of adoption professional you choose absolutely plays a factor in your adoption experience and the
Oh,
experience a
yeah.
birth mom will have. I've
Uh-huh.
had a number of families over the past couple of years when they ask me our time frame for adopting, and I say what I just said and explained,
Hmm.
and they're shocked because they've been told it should take about 5 years based on their
Hmm.
timelines.
Hmm.
And we've also had families say, how do we choose the type of adoption professional that's going to best meet our needs? Well, if you're looking for a newborn baby, a healthy baby, and you're open, to a variety of races, maybe not just only one race, but maybe any race or somewhere in the middle, and you're open to a little bit of substance exposure, not special needs, but if a birth mom had been smoking or had some alcohol, but not heavy drinking, then I would say an agency like Lifetime is one for you to explore, because what you want to avoid is working with adoption professionals who are assisting you and coaching you, but they don't actually work with birth moms. They don't work with birth moms directly. They haven't had an intake. They don't do the screening and support for birth moms. How can they really guide you and support you other than, in theory? You also want to
Mm-hmm.
avoid working only with an adoption professional that doesn't really provide support, counseling, screening, and care for birth moms, because that's going
Right.
to make the total difference in how smooth your adoption process is, the communication between you and birth mom, your confidence in knowing that the birth mother that has placed her child with you received care and education, support, counseling, even care packages along the way, just a loving heart toward her versus they're just there to complete the legal steps. You want
Right.
to make sure you're really working with someone who can truly partner with you on the complete adoption process. And you also want to work with someone, again, that actively completes adoptions, not just does intakes, but actively completes adoptions on a regular basis, because they are going to have far more experience as far as the screening and support and dealing with pitfalls that might come along the way, hiccups that might inevitably come along the way on the path, because life is life and hiccups happen. And you want to know that they have the
Mm-hmm.
experience to help you navigate that, and the relationships with the hospitals and the attorneys and the home study providers that you're going to need as part of your team. So when you're choosing an adoption professional, you definitely want to think about these things and identify, what are my values? What's important to me?
Mm-hmm.
When I say an adoption agency aligns with me, what does that look like? So they work with birth moms, they
Mm-hmm.
complete adoptions on a regular basis, they have full support and services for families and birth moms. And when I was talking about, that they complete actual adoptions within their agency or within their firm, that's something that you want to find out a little bit more about, because there are a lot of agencies that can do home studies, and families get on the list with the agency. Maybe it's a local or regional agency. They get on the list, they get the help with maybe a little bit of guidance creating their profile. The agency does their home study, and then they sit and they twiddle their thumbs, and meanwhile never realize that the agency is expecting them, fully expecting them, to find the birth mom through another method, and then they can do the rest of the work. But finding the birth mom and
Right.
supporting the birth mom is actually one of the, how would you describe it, Heather, most important parts, most challenging parts for people without the
I think
experience?
it's I think it's really the heart of adoption.
The heart,
And
yes.
and the reason I say that is because you mentioned about helping you build your profile, your website, or your a lot of places call it resume or adoption book. You know, just something right in there. Someone who doesn't actively work with birth mothers is going on what they believe women want to see. At Lifetime, our program is simple. It's based around what our continued ongoing experience with birth mothers is and what they have told us they want to see. And our process changes. It changes frequently as women change. And a great example of that is, we just made some changes this year based on um, the trends we were seeing with how birth mothers want to receive that information and what they are actually using, and what is resonating with them. So all of these things Kim is going over really boils down to um, you know wanting to work with someone who does adoptions, actively works with birth mothers, and isn't just kind of a middleman in the process. That's my opinion of that.
Yes, that's right.
So
And, you know, We have a really great infographic that our team has created that guides you through every step of the adoption process in an easy to
Hmm.
follow format. So email me, kim@lifetimeadoption.com. Let me know your first and last name and what state you're in. You can also throw in any questions or any information you'd like to share with me about your connection to adoption, and if you want to share anything about where things are for you in your process, what your experience has been, if any, so far, you're welcome to email me, but I definitely need your state and your name. And let me know if you'd like to receive Lifetime's adoption information for prospective adopted parents. We've got it already put together for you, and you'll receive that infographic, which really is comforting, a great resource for families to keep referring back to because there are so many steps. And as I said in the beginning, trying to figure everything out can be overwhelming, conflicting, and confusing.
Yes.
If you know you're trying to adopt a baby within the US, then the information that we have to send you will be very helpful. My email is kim@lifetimeadoption.com. So you can feel free to request that. And if you're listening to the replay, let me know, hey, we were listening to a recorded webinar that we found on a podcast somewhere. And let me know that because that's fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next question kind of goes right with what you were talking about. You were talking about adopting within the U.S., and that question was, what ages of children are available? And I will just say, with Lifetime, most of the children who are adopted with Lifetime are newborn. Occasionally, we have children who are up to about the age of 4 or 5. But
Hmm.
if you're looking for something a little different, it really depends on your path to adoption. If you are wanting to, say, adopt very quickly and you're open to an older child and special needs, there are waiting children to be adopted within the U.S. foster system. You can go and look at those waiting children at adoptuskids.org, and that is a place where those children who are waiting for homes and really, truly need homes are available. Those adoptions are usually very low cost. However, you just need to know the ages of those children are typically over 5. If they are under 5, they usually have medical special needs. But if you feel God's calling you in that direction, I definitely would encourage you to explore that. That's adoptuskids.org. And then similarly, if your path is if you're, some families are thinking, well, domestic, that sounds great, but what about international? International adoption is something that has greatly shrunk in the last 10 years. There used to be over 10,000 international adoptions a year. Now there's barely over 1,000. And again, similar to the waiting children, those children are not newborn. They're going to be older, and the choice of countries is just really, some open and then close, some close and then open. So you just have to really kind of explore what is available. If again you are open to an older child and are considering international, but again with Lifetime, the great majority of our adoptions are just like the one you see in the picture. If you're joining us here in the GoToWebinar app or online, this is the adoptive parents who are at the hospital with their baby. This is a Lifetime family. This is really how most of our adoptions look.
That's right. And here at Lifetime, we help each birth mother create a hospital plan so that you can know and kind of follow her wishes when those moments come. And in this photo, you can see they're all, scrubbed in kind of. They have their little hospital garb on. The baby
Right.
is obviously just born, probably that day. And so they were able to go there and usually meet birth mom face to face because she's inviting you in. She wants to connect with
Mm-hmm.
you. And we've shared so often over the years, Heather, how much birth moms value being able to see the baby in the arms of the
Mm-hmm.
adoptive parents because that
Yes.
reassures her, yes, that her plan is actually in place for that child, that her child is actually
Mm-hmm.
with the family she chose. Because unless she sees that for herself, it can remain a
Mm-hmm.
question mark, which can be very difficult for women to try to work through. And so we encourage them to consider those options when they create their hospital plan, that the family would love to meet you. If you're open to it, they'd love
Mhm.
to spend time with you. They'd love to, connect with you prior to, if possible, and at the hospital. And you can even
Mhm.
say, as a birth mother, whether you want to all leave at the same time if possible, or you want to leave first, leave the hospital first, and we'll guide you through that. In these moments, like what you see here in this photo of this amazing family, we're providing everyone in this adoption with 24/7 support. And
Mhm.
so then they're able to just focus on bonding with their new baby.
Yeah, absolutely. This next question, Kim, I know this is one that you love to answer, and that is, what happens, and it does happen occasionally, if an adoption falls through, if a birth mother changes her mind?
So every state gives a birth mom a certain amount of time that she's able to give birth to the baby and then decide if she definitely wants this adoption to take place. And she may have up to 30 days, maybe she only gets 10 days, maybe she gets 72 hours. Now, 30 days might seem like a lot to the ears of new adoptive parents in today's time, but back in the day, they would get like a year to change their mind. So a month flies by, and up to 30 days is pretty much the longest we've seen, unless there's some complication with an adoption for some reason. But that's typically what you can expect. So a birth mom is given a time frame, typically based on her state laws where she lives. So we'll have to find that out once we get the match in place and know what state the birth mom is in. If she decides that she'd like to parent that baby during that time frame, then we are in support of her parenting that baby, and I think most adoptive parents are in support as well, because your desire to adopt wasn't based on that specific baby or that specific scenario and that specific birth mom. Now, granted, you will have formed a connection with that baby and that birth mom, and you will have thought that your journey was coming to an end and you were crossing the finish line. So this is not easy. Something that you should know is that Lifetime stands ready to continue our services for you, even if an adoption didn't work out. So, with Lifetime's program structure, we're able to actually continue our services as soon as you say you're ready. You don't really need to do anything other than tell us that you're ready to start getting shown again. Now, you might want to have a little downtime to decompress emotionally, and
Mhm.
financially you might have lost some of your legal expenses, or maybe you helped her with some housing during the match. The most valuable thing about our fee structure is that Lifetime's fee structure is a flat fee. So you don't pay extra to keep us working for you. You don't start over from square one and have to pay a single dime to Lifetime to keep us working if it didn't work out with a birth mom. And that is so rare to find in adoptions these days.
Mhm.
That's been our format for decades now. So I really
Yeah.
love that about Lifetime, because I typically work with families on the front end when they're exploring and planning and trying to get a grasp of the financial aspect. And I love that what we tell them in almost every case, financially, what they plan for and expect is in the end what they spend. So there's no snowball effect of like, we paid X amount, now we have to pay more and more and more and more just to keep our agency working for us in order for us to have our dream come true of becoming parents. So if you'd like more details specifically about the fee structure, the total budget details, email me, kim@lifetimeadoption.com. Definitely include your state, because there might be some state specific things that you need to know about. So we have that opportunity to share that with you. And be sure, if you are new to Lifetime, to fill out your application at lifetimeadoption.com. You can fill that out within 15 minutes. You can upload a casual recent photo of you, and then we can take a look tomorrow or the following business day and continue exploring things with you. You'll hear back from us within 1 to 5 days as we're reviewing your application, but right off the bat, you're going to receive a confirmation email so that you'll know for sure that your application did indeed go through electronically. Of course, there are many questions that we did not have time to get to in these 30 minutes. It's a quick Q&A, so be sure to get those questions to us. Call us, email, text us. If you're on our site, it offers you a texting option. You can do that. You can call us at 727-493-0933 and stay tuned for our next upcoming webinars. We love spending this time with you, and we are so thankful that you are allowing us to be the ones to give you some valuable adoption information and walk with you a little bit on your path, whether you are meant to partner with Lifetime and God has your baby coming through this channel here at Lifetime, or through another path and we're a stepping stone and an arrow pointing you in the right direction. So thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.